friends, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to show you how to make some hidden paper clips. So these would fit right over the end of your journal page or your planner, whatever it is you're working, either over the top or, my fingers will work, over the side. And then we're going to embellish these. You can do them however you like. Okay, so let me clean these up a little bit and I'll show you what we're going to use to get started and how we're going to make these. Okay, so set those aside. You're going to need some fussy cuts or something to embellish them if you don't want them to be plain. If you really like the look of your paper, you are a-okay to just leave them that way. So I have some larger ones. I have some smaller ones. These are all from the Delightful Ducklings kit. I'm going to be using a scoreboard. I printed my design on 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I did print on both sides so that I can make some that are this color and some that are this color. So I don't have to have all of them the same color. You do not have to print on the back side. You might have a little bit of white that would show through on the edges. You can ink if you'd like, if you don't want that white to show at all, or you print it on the other side. This one is printed on the other side, but you can still see just the edge of the white cardstock there. Okay, this scoreboard I got from We Are Memory Keepers. It's a nice size. It's very portable. It comes with the scoring tool, which can also be a bone folder, attached right on the top. The one thing I did to improve it was I have trouble seeing these numbers when they're just stamped in. So I took a fine point Sharpie and I marked the number that it was. You see I got a little carried away with the 3 there, but I still know it's a 3. And then I followed that groove all the way down so that I knew easily where my whole number increments were, my whole inches. And then other things I'm going to be using are corner rounder, some double-sided tape, some E6000, scissors. I'm going to use my tweezers to help me get the tape off, the release paper off. Pencil. I think that's all we're going to be using. Okay, let's get started. Move these out of the way a bit. So this is my, again, 8.5 by 11. I need to score lines this direction. Well, on this little scoreboard, let's move these out of the way before I knock them on the floor. My little scoreboard is not long enough, right? So I just lined my paper up there in the corner. I went to 4.5 because I want to score it at 4.5, so that 8.5 by 11 sheet here, this is 4 inches, this is 4.5. Having them one side longer than the other is what's going to give us this little lip right here so that it's easier to get our paper clip on and off our paper. Okay, so I went over to 4.5 and I scored. I did already pre-score this, but because it's not long enough, I just flipped my paper upside down and I scored here. So I know you are only, you're supposed to fold the paper in the direction of the peak of the score, of the hill part of the score. But you know what? The world will not come to an end if you fold it the other way. It's just a paper clip. It'll be fine. We just need to encourage the paper to fold a certain direction and fold relatively straight. So that's what I did. And then I came over here. Again, this is our 4.5 inch length here. So we want to score that in half. So I came over to 2.25, scored down as far as I could, flipped my paper upside down, lined it back up, came back to 2.25, scored there. Okay, so on this half we have 2 inches left. We need, no, this is 4 inches. We need to score it in half at 2. So rotate that around, score it 2, flip it upside down, and finish your score line at 2. So we have 3 score lines. 4, well, from here, so 8.5 again, 4 inches, 4.25, No, 4.5, 2.25, 2.25, 2 inches, 2 inches. Okay, let's set that aside. So we are going to fold this now. And some of them I'm going to want this on the outside and some I'm going to want this on the outside. But I'm going to fold the entire page and then the entire piece of cardstock, and then I'll fold some of them the opposite direction of what I started with. So I like this side, so I probably am going to have more of them with this on the outside than this. So I'm going to fold it so that the side I like best is on the inside. And that's our almost half mark. That's our 4.5 line, score line. Then we're going to fold this up. Okay. Now, can you see right there where it's not perfectly even? Our edge of our paper isn't quite to that fold. We want it to be up there, so we're just going to encourage it up there. Just line those up, kind of give it a little push so that it goes that way before we score it. And then over here, we flip it to this side. Sometimes what happens is you get the opposite problem over here, so that this is a little bit longer than this, which it is a tiny bit, so I'm just going to push that up so that it's even. Come back and score it. If it's not perfect, it'll be okay. Okay, and then, let's see, I don't think we scored the middle. This is the easier side to score with. It's like a butter knife. That side scores easier than this side. You can use that for scoring also. It's a little bit more pointed, so when I'm scoring cardstock, it sometimes will, I get a little aggressive and it will tear my paper. So I have better luck with that more pointed end. All right, this side then also needs to be folded. And I have the same little bit of an issue here. Just going to scooch that up a tiny bit. Come in and score that. And then on this side, scooch that down a little bit and score it. All right, so from one piece of cardstock, we are going to get 7 paper clips. We can get 2 that are 1 3/4 inches wide and 5 that are 1.5 inches wide. You can cut them as wide as you like. I just didn't want to have any little scraps left over, so I divided this 11 inches so that I could get an even number. Well, it's not even, it's 7. Get it? Even, odd? Okay, anyway. I divided this up so that I had no scraps and still got a decent sized width for my paper clip. All right, so there's a couple different ways you can cut it. I am a quilter, so I am more than comfortable using a rotary cutter and ruler. So most of the time, that's what I will do, is I would line this up 1 3/4. Again, I can get 2 at 1 3/4, and then the rest will be 1.5. And then I can use my rotary cutter. Make sure I always lock your blade. So before I start cutting, this is a tip for both quilting and for cutting paper. I don't start clear over here and cut up. I start in just a little bit, pull back, and then go up. And in this particular case, it will help because I am probably not going to cut through 4 layers of cardstock on the first cut. If I come back here and I try to cut again, this is folding up. But if I can kind of hold that down and then come in a little bit with my blade, pull down, and then back up, I can get it. Also, little tip when you're rotary cutting fabric, I do the same thing. I don't start down here and come up because, let me see if this looks better over here on this side. A little bit. If you start down here, sometimes you can nick the corner right there of your ruler. Or you're too far out. One or the other. Too far in, too far out. But if you come in with your blade right up next to your ruler, up in a little bit, pull back, and then up, you get a straighter cut right there. And saves your ruler. All right, so there's one. I can do one more at 1 3/4. That time I just came straight back because I knew I wasn't going to get through all of it. If you don't have a rotary cutter, I'm going to turn my lock on. If you don't have a rotary cutter, you're not comfortable using one, those are very sharp and can cut your finger off in nothing flat. you can use a ruler and make a little line with your pencil, and then just use scissors. Find that line, cut to the other line. That works just fine. Or you can just eyeball it and cut. I'm a little bit too anal for that, a little too OCD for that, so just winging it like that doesn't usually work for me. Okay, there's one more. I did not lock my blade right there. Bad me. It's bad practice. You should always lock your blade. Even when it's this style where the blade gets retracted. If I were to drop this and that's loose, I could easily cut myself. It's been known to cut right through your shoe. Not me, but I have heard of it. Okay, lock my blade, set that aside. We're done with that. Set my ruler aside. Okay, so I have 7 potential paper clips now. Some of these, again, I could turn the opposite direction. So instead of this way, I could fold them the other direction. Keep those a little burnish. And now I have paper clips that can be this side or this side. So let's see, I really like that one. I get to decide now. Look, there's one little tiny flower in there. I might flip that one. That one's a little more boring, plus it's got just a tiny bit of flowers in there. I think I'm going to flip this one. Just like that. And you can do as many on one side, as many on the other side, whatever you like. So I've got 2 of them. Then I'm going to have the blue side out. And the other 5 I'm going to leave with the print side out. Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to get cleaned up and ready to go here. Alrighty, we are ready to go on. So here's our page. If you set it this way, some people will say, oh, there's a W. Some people will say, oh, there's an M. But that's what it looks like, this little accordion shape. Our paper clip is going to go here. And just because I'm a little bit anal, I will not argue that. I like the shorter side of the paper clip to go on the shorter side of the paper and the longer side of the paper clip to go on the longer edge. Like that. That's the way that's going to go, but we need to glue this in place. So what I'm going to do, take that off for right now, is, at this point, this is the point at which we would round our corners. So take your corner rounder. I do really like this corner rounder. It's got 3 sizes, a small, medium, and large, but it has a little cover here, so your little bits aren't flying everywhere unless you drop it on the floor and the lid comes off. So you would just put your little corners in there. Now, it's not going to do all 4 layers at once. Sorry, I know this is kind of noisy, so you just have to keep turning, do all those. This one, it will do 2 at once. And I will link to my favorite tools that I've been using today in the description. Okay, so there we go. All our corners are rounded. Looks nice. If you wanted to ink, this is also when you would ink. Okay, there's where our mechanism is going to go. So at this point, we need to glue our paper clip in place. This is where my double-sided tape comes in. I'm going to put double-sided tape here and here. This is probably Stampin' Up! Tape. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I have a lot of this around. And then a little piece across the middle. And I want to point out that I'm only going to this fold right here. I'm going to draw on the inside because nobody's going to see that anyway. So I'm not going past that fold with my tape. Okay, now we're going to do this side. So this is where our paper clip goes again. We're not going to go past that fold. Okay, like that. I'm going to stop here for a second because I have one that already has tape applied. Ta-da! So I put tape here, 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 and then on two short sides. Okay. Now, most of the time when you're gluing metal to something or plastic, two different components, two different mediums, maybe that's the better word. You need a pretty strong glue or something that will adhere different materials. So that's where my E6000 comes in. So I'm just going to take that lid off. And I'm going to put a little, just squish it around in here, in the center there. Now, I can't flip this over into the other side. I have to hold it in the air. Squish that around there. Again, I have to be careful when I put that down. So I'm going to set it that way. Put my lid back on before it dries out. It oozes all over the place. Okay. I'm going to carefully hold this on the sides where my double-sided tape is. I'm going to use tweezers to get that release paper off. Carefully hold it. There we go, like that. Okay, I'm going to leave the longer ones in place. I'm going to put my paper clip on now. Again, just because I'm that way, I'm going to put the short side of the paper clip on the short side of the cardstock and the long side on the long side. So that is this direction here. It will be a little bit harder to put the paper clip on because we have exposed adhesive here on both sides. Just give it a push. It'll work. Okay. Make sure it's somewhat centered. If you wanted to hang a dangle off right here, leave a little bit extra of the paper clip there. So I'm going to use my tweezers so I don't accidentally stick my fingers in glue. I'm going to pull that up just a little bit so that I have a little bit of space there so I can put a jump ring and add a little dangle on there. Okay, so again, I can't put this down on the table because I have exposed glue on the other side. So I have to hold it in the air. Be careful where you touch. You don't want that E6000 all over your fingers. Okay, so I have exposed double-sided sticky tape here, 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 E6000 here, E6000 there. Okay, so I'm going to hold it carefully. I'm going to lift this paper up and put it into place gently. Flip it over. Now I can put it down on my table and give it a good push just on the sides there, avoiding my fingers in the E6000. Now I can pull off the other release paper, push this down, push it in place, give it a good push here and here, and then we have a little bit of tape there on the top, double-sided tape. Push that all in place. There's our paper clip. All completed, ready for embellishments. This is beautiful paper from the Delightful Ducklings set. You can just leave it like that, or we can add some of our little embellishments. So let's see what we have here to decorate with. You can use something larger, like the duck. Ooh, my phone's about to die. I hope I get done before it's finished, I completely run out of battery. This flower fits perfectly on the paper clip without it showing through at all. That would be really pretty. Or, you know, just whatever little embellishments you have that you like, you layer things up, little tags, super cute. You can glue them on both sides so that both sides are finished. Have fun! Make lots of paper clips. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye.